You're listening to The Lowdown Show.
The house that AJ Styles built.
Your Raw and Smackdown Live review and discussion show.
Drink it in, man.
Right here on the No Holds Barred Network.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street. What you got? You used to think you owned the street. We're back to back and your ass is dead meat. Victory is sweet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all my corporate sellouts out there. Welcome to episode 5 of the newly revamped Lowdown Show, your WWE Raw and Smackdown Live review and discussion show, right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday night on Spreaker. Download the free app on all Android and Apple devices. And we're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud, so check us out wherever it's convenient for you to listen to us. For all network updates, please follow us on Twitter at NHB Network. As well, you can follow the show on Twitter at The Lowdown Show. And as always, I am your host of The Lowdown Show, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy at Cappy Collects on Twitter. And I'm always joined by my two co-hosts, the main roster Maharaja, Bryan at Heel Turn 21. What's going on, Bryan?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Oh, could be better. Glad you're back after last week's hiatus. And and last but not least, you just heard him, the one and only, the natural born heel, Cornette Jr. He is Tyler Jones at Tyler Jones underscore 22.
Yeah. Displeasure as always. Thought I got rid of you, Byron. I don't know why you're back, but I guess I'll deal with it.
You can never get rid of me, ever.
Oh, damn it.
You guys are like Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. You'll have to just jaw at each other forever.
Nope, I'm like Page's sex tape. I just keep popping up every now and then.
Right. Anyways, so thank you guys for tuning into the show once again. Thank you for tuning in live on Thursday here. We're actually on a Thursday, which is good. So, what do you guys want to talk about first for coming out of Super Showdown? Can't say that I watched it live, that's for sure.
Yeah, not at 5 a.m. or whatever it was.
If I must say, yes, the Triple H and Undertaker match was sloppy. But, you know, after watching that match, I have to give those guys props for what they did, man. I thought, the fact that they even went 20 minutes with where they're at in their careers, I just had to, sit there and just be like, wow, those guys did a good job, man. And I can't, harp on them for that, to be honest.
No, they had a hell of a match. I was actually pretty impressed for a dude who literally has 2 fake hips.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that we thought could never wrestle
impressive.
again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those deals. I mean, we all know why they did it, and I get it. And it actually turned out not to be too bad, and it built up, it made a purpose for them to do another one at the other glorified live event. So I mean, it makes sense.
Brian, do you have any thoughts on Super Showdown or that specifically?
Yeah, it's funny that was literally a super slow match. It was one of the slowest matches, but yet one of the most entertaining matches. And as you just said, we all know exactly where this feud is going, yet we're still all entertained every week by these guys. It speaks volumes to the old school way of doing things. That these guys, the old school still works.
Undertaker's able to make things believable, even at whatever age he's at, 52 or whatever he is.
This was no 5-star match. This was no 3-star match. It was a great match, and it works.
It told a story in the ring. That's all I can ask for. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the most athletic match in the world, to say the least, but you know what? I think it did its job, and I give props to both those guys, and even Kane and Shawn Michaels, because even though they weren't part of the match, they still had a place, I guess, in what happened at the end. But so that's going to lead to a match at upcoming Crown Jewel tag team match. So we had the DX reuniting on Raw, so we'll just jump into Raw then. So what did you guys think of the Triple H and Shawn Michaels opening there?
Well, two 50-year-old guys still the best part of the show, so I mean, what can you say? You know?
Now you have the people out there, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute, to say, well, you know, they're not. Why have these guys come out again? You're not going to want to build new stars. You know, you don't want to build your own next Undertaker or Triple H, Shawn Michaels, whatever. But I understand why they do it, because these are the guys that'll make the money and, you know, bring an audience.
Well, it's because it's what Saudi Arabia wants.
Yeah, I mean,
they wanted that, so for the money, they're gonna get it. You know,
same with
just the way things go.
Same with Super Showdown. Like, they want the big names to show up, right? So that they can sell tickets to the people that don't watch all the time.
Right. Because, I mean, even people in Saudi Arabia are going to know who the fuck Undertaker and Kane and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are. It's just part of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same reason Big Show's back all of a sudden, Rey Mysterio. Like, it's just... these guys...
Well, Ray signed a contract, so he's back for a while. But I know, obviously, good timing. You know, wink, wink.
But we're talking about pushing the older guys instead of the new guys. Like, until these guys stop drawing money, why wouldn't you just milk every penny you can out of it?
Yeah, Rey Mysterio's a fucking cash cow. Why would you?
Dude.
Why would you not soak that up too?
You're gonna see fucking mask all over every town all of a sudden. You know? It's easy money. Why wouldn't you? You know, I mean.
Plus, he's gonna put talent over. He's there to fucking make guys look good. And Ray, one thing Ray is good at is making everybody look good. So I mean, this is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna get. Do you guys think we're gonna get a couple more Shawn Michael matches, or do you think this is a one and done?
I hope it's a one and done.
You have people there that want to have the dream matches or Styles or Bryan.
Is it really a dream match now?
Yeah, I mean, who really?
I mean, is it really?
Shawn Michaels is bald.
Do people really want to see Shawn Michaels fight AJ Styles? Get ran or in circles by AJ Styles? I just don't think that's. I mean, and I know AJ would take care of him, but it would just. Who the fuck would want to see that? I don't think they're gonna do that.
Well, the thing is, they're gonna have to go full storytelling, and the marks aren't gonna like that. The marks are gonna want a 5-star, flippy do match. But Shawn can't do that anymore. You know, he's 60 years old. They're gonna have to go full storytelling, so it's never gonna live up to the 5-star match that people want.
This isn't Shawn Michaels of 2000 or even before that, 96. You know, if you can go back in time and bring AJ Styles up in a time machine, then sure. But I don't think that's going to happen. So
no, I think it's a good, if they can't go, because I don't think that Michaels can go with these guys anymore. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think he can. I don't think Triple H is the closest to being able to go with some of these guys, in my opinion. And I think to that reason, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna let them fight each other, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, look at the recent, memorable matches Shawn had. Before he retired, it was against older guys.
Ric Flair.
Undertaker. It's just he was already going, on the tail end of his career, the end of his career. There's no reason to come back almost 10 years later and have a 5-star match with Daniel Bryan. I'm sure he's in a lot better shape than all of us, but it's just.
It wouldn't be the match everybody wants. It would be a letdown for everybody that has high expectations for what that match could be.
Oh yeah.
So what did you think of the whole Undertaker and Kane, turning on them after Super Showdown, leading into this tag team match that we got announced on Raw, which we all saw coming, but.
Yeah, like we said, we all saw it coming, but for some reason we're still entertained. I mean, these guys have a next level charisma, a next level charm about them that we're all drawn to them no matter what they do. So if this was Roman Reigns, we can tell you what's going to happen before the match even happens, so we don't care. These guys, we already knew what was going to happen, and we're still like, all right, this is fun.
Because they're able to make it believable for us. They're able to get us invested in a fucking tag team match that means nothing.
Exactly. The storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, the storytelling is what's keeping this feud alive. We all know exactly what's going to happen.
I don't even know if it's exactly storytelling. It's more nostalgia factor, I think, mostly, to be honest with you, and the fact that it's what am I trying to say here? Almost, undoubtedly, whatever, almost the greatest, wrestler of all time, an Undertaker,
But he's able to make you invested in you know what I mean? Like he's able to
Right.
play
I'm
with you
not
to make you
debating that,
feel invested
but I don't
into the
think
match.
it's necessarily the storytelling that's helping that. I
Well,
think it's
I think you have to be
Undertaker's promos that are helping that.
which is you makes you invested in the story. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
So we had the DX. I don't know if they're coming. I guess they're coming back as DX. Is that what the whole thing is? Brothers of Destruction versus DX, even though they're missing half of DX, but sure.
Well, technically that was the original DX, so whatever.
So I guess we'll move on to the other interesting part of Raw in more ways than one. We had the Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens scenario, so obviously Lashley won, and two things happened here. There was a legitimate injury by Kevin Owens, which apparently he's going to be out for at least 3 or 4 months, I believe. I read a report saying today that he's legitimately going to be out for that long. And we also had the heel turn of Bobby Lashley in this match with Lio Rush. And from what I've been hearing, apparently Vince McMahon was feeding Lio Rush lines in his earpiece. And apparently the reason they did this was because there aren't enough top heels on Raw, so that's why they went through with the Lashley turn.
Huh.
And I love it.
There are enough top heels on Raw, but they're all stuck in one damn storyline, so I don't know what is he thinking, but this was just annoying to me. There's heat and there's heel antics, but this was just straight out annoying. Especially just to start off the show, I was just like, here we go. It was, I literally walked away and started cleaning the house because it was just that annoying to me. I don't know about you guys.
What was annoying? What do you mean?
Just his whole outside, it was annoying. It just,
What was annoying?
You mean Lio Rush?
Like, Lio Rush, yeah.
Oh.
It was just, there was,
I mean, I
get
can't.
it. He was trying to get heat, but I guess X-Pac heat, quote unquote.
He was
bad.
He was trying too much. It was too much. But I do love the Lashley heel turn. I think it's a great thing. I think as a babyface he sucked ass.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think Lio Rush as a heel manager makes 10 times more sense too. And if Vince is feeding him lines, he needs to stop. Just let the kid do his thing. He's young. He knows how to connect to people. Vince is fucking 70 fucking years old.
Like, I'm sure
Get
Lio
out of
Rush
the
knows how to
ear.
be a douchebag. I'm sure he can play a pretty damn good douchebag.
Honestly, it looks like he is a fucking douchebag in real life, so I really don't think it's hard for him to play one. It'd be like if I was on TV. That's not hard. So, you know what I mean? It's just, let him do his thing, and I think he'd be all right. And I think that was literally, if you're saying that's annoying, I think that's probably because it was the stupid lines that Vince were feeding him.
Yeah, and Lashley should have been a heel out of the gate. He looks like a badass minus the smiling. And Lio Rush, like you guys said, he looks like he could just naturally be, a douchebag. So just let him go. It was the first 2 weeks was interesting because it was Lio Rush being the little weasel manager guy, getting away with it, having the muscle Bobby Lashley have his back.
Which I disagree with you. I think Lashley makes a good babyface, but only against good heels. So I think if he went up against Lesnar, it would have been fine. But since he was going up against nobody,
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Owens.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah, Sami Zayn's not a heel. And Owens, that was the closest thing he had. I mean, that was good up until shit started going down. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was better than most shit we see. So I didn't hate it necessarily. So I mean, it's one of those things where I think he could have made it good. And I don't know where Vince is saying that he doesn't have enough heels. What the fuck is he talking about? But I'm really cool with Bobby Lashley turning heel. Get better for Owens. I didn't know he was going to be out for that long. That sucks.
Yeah, and the only positive I can take from it is that Kevin Owens is not turning babyface. So thank God.
Which I don't know what dumbasses were saying that on Twitter, but who the fuck? I was telling Cappy the other day, I'm like, can you imagine Kevin Owens coming out? What a great city we're in tonight! Oh my gosh, I'm Kevin Owens. my best friend is Sami Zayn, and we're gonna go freaking have a great night here tonight and wherever the heck we're at. I mean, can you imagine that bullshit? Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, Vince would have just made him a teddy bear character, and they would have been off to the races.
So hopefully get well soon for Kevin Owens. Maybe this will be best for him to take some time off, and maybe they'll have something more important for him when he comes back. It's going to be interesting if he's coming back around the same time as Sami Zayn, if they're going to, put them together again or not. But I think there's only good things to come from this Lashley heel turn, so that was definitely a positive for me. Although Leo Rush does need some work on his annoying lines on the outside, they could definitely be a lot better.
Oh, for sure.
Is there anything else that stood out to you guys that you want to talk about? Because, oh my god. I guess we might as well talk about the Global Battle Royal. We were when this segment started, I'm like, this is going to be the worst segment in the history of Monday Night Raw. And the ending of it was still dumb, but it made me laugh, and it made sense to who won the match.
I mean, let's get real. Only thing that made you laugh was Angle doing that fucking dance, that fucking elbow to elbow.
The Conquistador.
Mariachi music was great.
And the names of those random catering guys.
The Belgian Waffler.
The Belgian Waffler. The Sultan of Shawarma.
The Sultan of Shawarma.
And what the hell?
And he was from Egypt. They couldn't even get the fucking place right.
One of the guys was just head to toe like Aladdin, like straight up Aladdin.
The other dude had a chef hat on.
The Chilean sea bass.
That was amazing, and he had literally like a chili sash on.
Red tipped hair.
What about the hombre sin nombre or something like that?
Oh yeah,
hombre sin nombre. Was he like a local wrestler or something? Because that guy got a huge pop.
Probably was, but my God, was this ever terrible. And again, the ending made sense. Angle reveals himself as Conquistador, throws out Corbin. So I assume this is setting up an Angle and Corbin probably Survivor Series team match for the rights to Raw. Most likely, I think that's where it's probably going to go with this.
Yeah, I can see it.
But wasn't this a qualifying match for that the tournament?
The World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup.
Yeah.
So Kurt Angle is now in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's Angle, Cena, Hardy, and Elias, or
no,
I forget.
Angle, Cena, Hardy, and Orton.
Or Orton. Yep.
So is this the Team USA side? I guess.
No, it's the Senior Citizen Cup apparently, because they're all over almost 50 years old.
And then next week Ray battles somebody, so he'll get in it.
Oh yeah.
And
Ray and Nakamura next week. So two other old guys. Either one of those guys.
Yeah, because it's going to be at Crown Jewel, so they got to sell tickets with all the named guys, right? You can't sell the new guys like Nakamura. They're not going to sell tickets to Saudi Arabia.
There's 8 spots, I believe, in the match.
Yep.
4 of them are taken up by Americans.
Okay, we'll move
How
on.
is the World Cup?
We could talk about this World Cup thing, and it's a good idea. I think it was poor execution, but I mean, at least they're trying something different. That's the most I can say about it.
America has a 50-50 chance of winning it already.
See, I like tournaments. I just set it up better. Like, if you're gonna do a tournament, do it the King of the Ring style. Do a King of the Ring for this thing. And I know they probably won't because the kings of Saudi Arabia would get all fucking butthurt. Boo fucking who? It's a goddamn fucking show.
Ty, do you want to talk about Paul Heyman's promo? Is there anything you got to say about that?
I mean, he cut a good promo. It was funny. And then when, music hit, his fucking facial. Every wrestler should have to go to Paul Heyman for facial expression training. The man has the best facial expressions on the planet. He just, his face just, it tells us so many stories. He doesn't even have to talk. It makes you laugh all the fucking time or pissed off at him. It's great.
So he hyped up the Beast Incarnate for Crown Jewel. So again, it did its job because obviously Lesnar wasn't going to show up.
It's just there to remind you because Lesnar's not going to show up. So it's
again,
just there to kind of don't forget.
I think it did its purpose. I mean, there wasn't really anything else he was gonna do, so I can't really hate on that. I thought it was a good job by Heyman, but again, it's the same shit we see every kind of month from him with Lesnar. But it's not like Lesnar can talk, so well, apparently he can talk, just not on it's just only on UFC events. But
yeah, I mean, like the Heyman promos are certainly getting old now.
Yeah,
but it's not really because of Heyman. It's because it's always about the same promo about Brock.
Yeah.
So it's just that's why it's getting old. It's not really Heyman.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's a couple of really stupid things on Raw that I could just rant about for days. Well, I guess we'll quickly get into the Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus the Ascension thing. I don't even know what the fuck to say about this.
We don't even need to bitch about it.
Yeah, I don't even know. Why are we even going to talk about this?
I'm sick and tired of Bobby Roode being just shoved, completely farther down the totem pole. Yep. But again, there's nothing we can do about it. But it makes me angry every time I see it. And we had the AOP come out with Drake Maverick to kind of beat everybody down. So wherever that goes, not sure.
Who cares?
And the other thing I want to talk about is we had Trish Stratus return to Raw this week to cut an awful promo. As much as I love her, God, that was awful. And she came, and then of course Mickey and Alexa came out, and Trish kind of looked. She was waiting for the cue for their music to hit, and she kind of had to say another line. Then the music finally hit. So then Alexa comes out and is like, "Oh, Trish, you sucked," and all this crap. It was just a terrible promo, and then they announced
really lame build up.
And then why the hell did we have to turn this into a tag match? Honest to God, Alexa, this was going to be so great for Alexa. I really think this was going to be a good spot for her to get a win over somebody like Trish. It would have catapulted her. You know what I mean? And now it's just going to be, they're probably going to, Alexa and Mickey are taking the L here now. It's 100% they're losing to Lita and Trish now in this tag match.
Yeah, well, from what I read, I think Alexa is legit injured. I think she's been injured for a couple of weeks, so that could be the reason why it's a tag match. So
if she's injured, then they need to take her the fuck off of television. This is just stupid.
And another thing, has Lita just been waiting in gorilla position for the last month for anyone to call her name to come out, or?
Yeah, because there's supposed to be a match with her and Mickie James that we never got any build for whatsoever before this. That was supposed to be a one-on-one match, and they had never had a build for that. So they're like, all right, well, might as well just throw them in a tag team match.
Yeah, and if we're supposed to believe what's going on in the ring, so Mickie James on the spot made it a tag match, and Trish just had Lita sitting in gorilla ready to go for...
Yeah, it's like, where the fuck has Lita been the last month to build the feud with Mickie James? It had zero even mention of it. Oh, it was poorly done the way they built up this whole tag team match now, and I biasly wanted it to just be Trish and Alexa, so it could be, a nostalgic moment for me. Seeing my favorite from then, one of my favorites from now, but now it's going to be a tag match, and now Alexa's not going to be the one to get put over. It's going to be fucking Trish and Lita taking the, getting the win, and it's just not going to make any sense to me. I don't like this at all. I really don't.
I mean, are you excited for the pay-per-view at all?
I was.
For what?
I was excited for this match. I was excited for the one-on-one match I was going to get. Now it's not going to happen now. And I was going to be excited for see who was going to face Ronda Rousey, but then we had Nikki Bella had to go and turn heel on Ronda Rousey, which Ronda Rousey shouldn't have trusted Nikki Bella or Brie in the first place.
How does Nikki Bella just hop line? Hasn't been here for a year.
She comes back and gets an instant title shot.
Title shot.
Instant title shot.
What the fuck are we doing with the women's division right now, man?
I thought Nikki Bella was one of the reasons why the women's division was terrible back in the day. Wasn't she part of the problem? And now she's
part of the problem
now she's stepping in line being like, "Oh, look, women's revolution." Meanwhile, everybody's probably looking at her like, "You are part of the problem." Now you just want to jump in the line of what we're doing now?
It's the Bella-lution. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. Nikki Bella is like Roman Reigns level for me. Like when she gets on, when her music hits or I see her on the TV, I just want to change the channel. Like I don't even want to look at her. She makes me sick to my stomach every time I have to look at Nikki Bella on the television screen.
Yep.
Her only redeeming quality is her ass and her fake boobs.
And
But
I'm
if we say
sorry,
that,
but like,
we're-
what is the
we're-
point
we're-
of having her go against Ronda Rousey? You really think that's going to be a credible match for Ronda Rousey? Is facing Nikki Bella? What reasoning does and what makes Nikki Bella deserve a title shot against Ronda Rousey over everybody else? Oh wait,
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Total
you know,
Divas, so-
none of us have an answer for it because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No. Nope.
So that was another. The two women's segments this week were absolutely atrocious. I have nothing else to say about that, and I guess I'm extra critical on the women's division because it's my favorite part of the show and I want to see it succeed, and I think it could be so much better, which I'm going to book in the How to Book segment. But again, I really thought what they did this week for both of those feuds was just the wrong direction to go in the first place. But you know, who am I?
Yeah. Raw fucking basically sucked again. So
Yeah, and
it's
I
SmackDown.
don't even want to talk about the Shield and Braun Strowman and McIntyre thing because it's the same thing we've seen for the last month and a half.
Literally went rinse, wash, and repeat. So the rest of it sucks.
The only redeeming thing was that you and I were like, "Wow, McIntyre actually pinned somebody."
Yeah,
who got
I was
the
happy
win.
about that for sure.
That was the only positive I could take from the entire segments and the entire match that they were in the whole night. Was McIntyre getting the pin with the Claymore. That was the only thing.
And Dean Ambrose leaving.
Sure, which teasing
Even that
again.
wasn't that good. Now here's the they fucked it up already. So what the hell does it fucking matter now? Like, we don't care anymore. We all know it's either gonna, even if they fucking swerve us, we all in our
Wait,
minds are saying we only
let's
have
say
two
this for my
fucking
how to book.
choices.
We got to save Ambrose for my how to book. So
I mean, I'm talking about what's actually going on, not your how to book. So it really doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody in their minds is thinking, he's either going to stay or he's going to go. So it really doesn't fucking matter what you do with him anymore. They fucked it up already.
well, but you're not talking about what's happening.
Yeah, I am.
You're talking about what could happen.
No, I'm saying they fucked it up already. How is that
I mean,
what
it's
they
on a
could have done?
50-50. Anyway,
What are you debating here? I'm kind of lost.
I don't understand what he's debating.
nothing is fine.
Okay, we'll move on to SmackDown then. So, anything that sticks out to you that you want to like say off the bat, Brian? Is there anything you want to say about SmackDown that kind of stood out to you that you want to talk about?
SmackDown. I think obviously the best part was The Miz. That guy still, to me, he outshined both AJ and Daniel Bryan. They're gonna have a great 5-star match, but what's the story? Nothing. The Miz just outshined both these guys. The crowd was getting behind The Miz, and you had two of the greatest wrestlers in the world, supposedly, but the guy on the mic was the one getting over with the crowd. That's the only thing that stood out to me on SmackDown. We had the Big Show and Randy Orton. I wasn't even going to try to stay up for that. Where the hell are the tag team champions? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, the women's match was great.
okay. Well, let's slow down
really
here.
good.
We're on the Miz segment here. So, Ty, what do you think of that whole Miz TV segment, which led
I
into
think
the
that-
Styles and Benjamin
I think
match?
Miz is the whole storyline in this thing. I think he is literally the focal point. I think they're making him the focal point at this point just because they know they can't really get anything out of the Daniel Bryan and AJ out of a face standpoint. So you got to have a heel involved to fucking
Stir
either
the
piss
pot.
one off to the point, stir the pot. Like either piss one off to the point where he breaks and snaps, or causes just enough problems between the two that it makes the story interesting, or maybe he weasels his ass into the match, which I'm not opposed to either. But that was a really good segment. Even the match against Shelton, weird that Shelton is getting this weird, awkward push, but I'm okay with it. Wasn't a bad match. And then, when Daniel Bryan gets up and claps and the Miz is just, chirping his ass, talking about, oh, look at that. That's what everybody wants to see. You clapping for him. That's great. That was awesome. Miz is just awesome on the mic.
Pun intended.
And he could just jaw with the best of them. Of this generation. That's for sure. And then the Styles Shelton Benjamin match. I mean, it was an okay match. I mean, we all know Shelton can go, especially when he's in the ring with a guy like Styles.
He's just boring. He needs a partner.
Yeah, or a manager or something. But we know managers really don't exist anymore. But I thought it, like you were saying, a face versus face. It's kind of hard to do nowadays because somebody wants some sort of conflict. And I guess I don't know if they're
conflict. If there's no conflict, what's the fucking point of doing a wrestling match?
Yeah, because it's like what?
I think. What do you guys think about the Miz getting inserted as a ref? Just to add
I'm okay with that. I wouldn't hate on that.
I think they're inserting the Miz because I think he's going to be the next in line for a title shot. To be honest with you, I think that's why he's still a part of this whole, scenario here. Because I think he's going to be the next one to get a shot at the title.
Yeah, I think that's how they're going to set it up. He's going to be the special guest ref, maybe try to screw them both or something like that, and then he turn it into a triple threat at Survivor Series or something like that.
Yeah, I could totally see that, and that would actually be really good.
Yeah, I assume that. So is this Styles and Bryan match happening at Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
So I could since it's basically a live event, I could definitely see the Miz probably just like refusing to pin to 3 for both of them if that's the case. And then the match just ends in like a no contest, and then Miz gets added to the feud for Survivor Series.
Or has Shelton come out and help him because he has been in the ear of Shelton Benjamin. So I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe they do the triple threat at Survivor Series when it actually matters, not in one of these overseas live events that don't matter at all. And then you have a really good triple threat at Survivor Series, and I could definitely get behind that. Miz maybe stealing the title there. I'd definitely be okay with that.
Yep, I think that's where it's going, but hey, what do I know?
We'll move on to I don't even really have anything to say about the Randy Orton Big Show World Cup qualifier. We had Big Show come back, and I mean, again, like we were saying before we went on the air, Big Show serves a purpose, and I agree that he's a name to put people over, but does he need to put over an already established veteran, Randy Orton, who they've faced many times in the past?
No, that one didn't make much sense. I was excited to see him, but the match it didn't make sense who he was facing.
The match just seems sloppy from the I don't know.
It was.
I don't know.
I mean, hell, Big Show is probably the first time Show's been in a match in months. I mean, I can't blame him too much either.
Yeah, and if I mean, it was just really random, and I get that Big Show's there, like you said, to serve a purpose to put people over, but he's not going to put over Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is as over as he's going to get. What I think they should have done is play off the whole time. I mean, if you're going to... Orton's going to win the match, obviously, but if you're going to give someone a rub, keep going with the Ty Dillinger thing. Have him come out and be like, you know what? I'm injured. I have 9 fingers right now, but I'm still going to fight this guy. I still want to represent, Canada in the World Cup. Have him put over, he's going to lose, but at least keep building this guy up, so he can break off the Orton feud and possibly go into, one of the other.
Oh, you would have wanted them to have come out and demand a rematch with Orton.
Yeah, Orton. You can say, you know what, Orton. Have Orton versus Dillinger. Be like, you know what, I'm injured. Blah 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 blah. But at least you're still building someone because you're not building anyone with a Big Show and Orton.
No, and at least it kept Ty doing something on Raw, and it made that segment mean something last week. They're continuing.
Exactly, he's gonna lose, but you can say, you know what, he was injured. The guy has a heart. He came 2 weeks in a row to fight, and keep building them from there.
I mean, I'd be okay with that, but Ty calls me a Ty Dillinger homer, so I can't comment on anything Ty Dillinger says on this show or does on this show. So
perfect 9. Again.
Isn't Big Show a Raw superstar? So I guess he's another one that's exempt from brand split rules. That's another thing that didn't make sense to me. But I guess these guys that could just come back like Kane. They could just report on any show they want. It's John Cena.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
The hottest free agents, Big Show and Kane.
Big Show.
All right. And I'm not going to spend any time whatsoever on the Lana full story of the one night in Milwaukee thing. It was corny, as we all said it was going to be. It was garbage. She basically just said another 2 lines after that. It was terrible. Aiden tried moving in on her. She left. It was horrific. Nothing else to say about it. I don't think either of you guys would be. I think you're both okay with me moving on from that segment.
Yeah, that segment could have been done
100%.
last week.
And
They could have done it all in one week.
do you guys want to? Is there anything you want to comment on the Joe and Jeff Hardy qualifier, or you want to just move on to the women's segment?
I mean, it was for nothing, for no build up match. It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
it was
the whole
good.
build up to it was the fact that Joe's knee's hurting, which, I'm okay with them taking Joe off TV for a little bit. He's been doing a lot, and, give him a month off. Let him go away for a little bit, come back.
At least they didn't have him get pinned. He just they just kind of stopped the match.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, is he like legit doing it, or is he just
even if he isn't hurt, I'm okay with it. If they didn't have anything good for him, just fucking leave him off for a while. But
I agree.
But again, having him at least not take the pin in this scenario, if he was really hurt, then I'm okay with that. I'd rather them just stop the match because of a knee injury.
Yeah.
And then get into I'm pretty sure it had to be at least a 20 to 25 minute match. The Charlotte and Becky Lynch rematch and a DQ can win the title for Charlotte. And it ended up being a no contest. So
It was a good match. I mean, yeah, I can't. The build.
Sorry, it was a double count out, not a.
Yeah, I was gonna say double count, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, essentially, kind of is a no contest. But, no, the build up for this is good. Even though they're in the wrong roles, I'm actually really okay with this because they're kind of building it the way it should be. And I think eventually there will be a double turn, but that doesn't come for a while. I'm okay with that. The build's it's okay. It's been pretty good, and I think the matches have been good to go along with it.
Yeah, except for the Super Showdown match sucked, but that was to be expected. I definitely thought this match was a lot better than that match.
Oh yeah.
And then we had Paige announcing later in the night that it'll be the first ever main roster last woman standing match. So there's another first ever for you, since they love throwing that out at you. So there's the first ever main roster last women standing match.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been the best match of the feud, or their best match so far. Throwing in the whole last woman standing. I mean, this is probably the only match I care about on the Evolution card so far. This match was really good. It was like 25 minutes, so a pay-per-view type of match. The only little thing I can pick at, I guess, is the fact that Becky Lynch getting counted out again still wouldn't have been a DQ. It would have just been a count out. So it could have been she could have done the same thing over. Technically, she got counted out again, which was pretty much the same finish as the Super Showdown. So the stipulation didn't make sense, but I where they got to, I'm okay with it.
Ty, do you have anything to say on that to end that part of the segment?
No, I agree with them. I think that I think the match was just good. I think like I said, they've been doing really well with the booking on this match, and it's like Byron said, it's about the only match on the card I'm actually interested in seeing at this point.
I mean, this week we kind of got it seemed like they were very lazy with their booking coming out of Super Showdown, and because they didn't want to put a lot of, I guess they wanted to give the wrestlers a break coming back over from Australia. Besides, this match was 25 minutes, but again, you said that there should be no excuse. They should have had this booked already, and they should expect to come back and not be given
100%.
a free pass on the next show, even though they just came back from Australia.
And I'll tell you, another thing I noticed too, and I think I talked to you about it too. Why did they have the damn events in Chicago when they were in Australia last week? Like, why didn't you do it in California? Like, what? Why put them through more travel than they need to?
No, why not just have it in Australia?
Because they can't do it live. They can't do it live.
Whatever.
They don't do London live.
I guess London's the only one that they're allowed to have an exception for.
I mean, you're already there, and you do tapings for Raw in London. Why can't you do it in Australia?
I mean, Brian, you're trying to put reasoning into Vince and Kevin Dunn's mind, which doesn't usually work.
Oh no, we can't tape another Raw once a year, or two Raws a year.
No, never. It's got to be live.
You're right. They're paying $1 billion for it. So.
But again, the Charlotte and Becky match, considering what we got this week, I thought it was pretty well done. And again, I'm actually looking forward to that match going into Evolution, since the other matches have disappointed me as far as their builds have gone the last couple weeks. So that's that. All right, so I guess we'll get into that part of the segment or the show again, which is the how to book segment. So we're gonna do this, like I said, fairly often, not every week, but because it would just get stale at that point. So what we're gonna book from the end of Super Showdown up until Crown Jewel / Evolution, since they're like 3 or 4 days apart. So each of us have 3 titles, or sorry, Bryan and Ty have 3 titles. I have 2 titles, and we're gonna give just a general, discussion on what we think should happen from the start to the end, as far as the next couple weeks go. So we'll start off with Bryan. So what do you got for us this week, Bryan? Let us know your title and then jump right into it.
All right, so my Universal title booking actually doesn't make it until the Crown Jewel. My booking would have actually ended last night or Monday night on Raw, because like I said before, the Universal title, sorry I burped there, the tag team titles on Raw are non-existent. You might as well not even have them on the show. I don't know where this whole Roman Reigns being a fighting champion is supposed to be, because it's not happening. So it's very hard to book titles that aren't being built. So I'm just going to kind of go way left field. I don't know, you guys are probably going to bury me for this, but I say the title should have changed on Monday. How, you say? The Universal title should have changed getting a little excited here, sorry. We had the 6-man tag, right? We've all seen it before. What was this, the 3rd time they've done it? 4th time they've done it in a month?
Yep.
Yes? No?
Yep.
So, the only one without a strap on the heel side is Braun Strowman. Baron Corbin has been trying to get the belt off of Roman, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin can do whatever he wants. What I would have done is, I would have made the 6-man tag for the belt. I would have said, if Team Strowman wins, Strowman gets the belt. You have the whole, the 6-man tag match again. Braun wins the title, and you could have also had more of the Shield breakup type of scenario. That's the only thing I really can't think of how they're going to do it. But have Dean do something to not necessarily turn heel, but cost Roman the title, and you have Braun, your Universal Champion, on Raw. I know it's super left field, but at least it's doing something with the belt. It's the belt is non-existent. Both the Raw, the Universal, and the tag team belt.
I mean, I can definitely see something. Sorry, Ty. I can definitely see something along the lines of Dean screwing Roman over unintentionally at first to cost him, the title at some point. I think you're on the right track with that part of it. Yeah,
well, the thing is, I don't want him to do it intentionally quite yet, because at the Crown Jewel, I can't book it yet. I don't know how I can see this happening, but I want Dean to walk out the new Paul Heyman guy. It's obvious Brock's not going to be around after this show. He's getting his $1 million and leaving. So they're going to have to do something with Paul Heyman. Dean Ambrose as champion alone, I think everybody agrees, was very boring. I think him with a crazy mouthpiece would be really cool to have. Roman gets the belt back at the Saudi Arabia show. Then you have Roman versus Dean, the new Paul Heyman guy, into Survivor Series. I know that's kind of jumping the gun into Survivor Series, but I just want something different for Ambrose. Like we were talking earlier about how Dean Ambrose turning on him is kind of expected and boring, and we get it. Okay, it's happening. At least this would have a little bit of a twist on it. That's why I said earlier I didn't want to really talk about it. Do something new. Have him not only turn, but be the new Paul Heyman.
Ty, you were going to say something about that?
I wasn't gonna say anything. I didn't say anything.
No, I thought you were gonna cut in after he gave his idea there. I thought I interrupted you.
No?
No? Okay. Anyways, so Brian, what's your next title there?
The Smackdown,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah, the tag
The
titles. Yep.
Smackdown title, which weren't even on the show this week. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Make it better.
How?
Put them on the show. Have them do something.
Okay, let's put them on the show, okay? So let's put them on the show, and they're fighting at the bar, right? No, the bar was the last feud, right?
I don't even know what they're doing with that title, to be honest with you, because I really
They're not doing anything. They're not. I mean, what am I supposed? Okay, let's put them on the show, and let's have Sanity come out. I mean, we've all been saying Sanity, but there's nothing for these guys to do. The only thing, like I said before, is you reunite. The Bludgeon Brothers have been off TV. You bring back the Wyatts, and you do the 3-on-3 at Survivor Series. But that's kind of jumping the.
But Eric
gun
Rowan
again.
is hurt.
Oh, is he hurt?
Yes. That's why they had to halt the whole Bludgeon Brothers push, is because Eric Rowan's hurt.
Holy hell! I didn't even realize it. These guys are just the tag division is just so bad on SmackDown. It's why do you guys gotta do this to me with SmackDown? Why?
Okay, well, you got to redeem yourself with the Intercontinental belt.
Another belt that's been non-existent as well. But see, I jumped the shark and I said another Survivor Series type of deal with this. But I mean, what is Seth's not doing anything with the belt? Why not just have him come out, open challenge, put the belt on someone like an Elias or a Bobby Lashley? I don't know how we're gonna get there. It's really hard with these belts because they're literally doing nothing with them. If I had some kind of storyline to go on with them, I can say something with it. But
Gotta get
what are they
creative.
doing?
Gotta go into your Kevin Dunn creative mind there.
Oh yeah, that's because the creative is super great right now with Kevin Dunn behind the
I don't
wheel,
get this.
right?
You're a huge fan of Russo. You should have all these fucking stupid, fucking weird ideas coming out of your mind.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's go full Russo with the IC belt. So, bro. So you have Seth Rollins, bro.
Okay, I want the
have-
ideas, not the actual fucking person.
You have Seth Rollins, bro. You have Elias, bro. You have two corners. You have the IC on a pole in one corner, and the guitar on the pole in the other corner. Whoever gets the guitar off one pole gets to hit the other person with the guitar and win the IC title, bro. Bro.
Now
Bring
that
Judy
sounds like
Bagwell-
something Russo would do.
Judy Bagwell as the special guest referee.
There you go. See, that's what I want
Fuck
from you, is that shit.
I could do that all day.
Well, I appreciate an effort. So at least that you put some thought into that.
Dude, I got the worst bounce.
That should be the best. That means you should be able to come up with something good. Because it can't get much worse.
I'm not basing mine off of storylines either. I mean, like, yeah, you can, but you're just supposed to make this shit up. That's the whole point.
But in that case, we can just say anything. 'Cause
Yes.
What's the point?
Yes, you
Let's,
can.
like-
So, Brian, let me give you an idea. Since I'll go next, I'll let you go last. Since we'll save the best for last. So I'll go with what mine are. So I have the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. So what I would have had coming out of the last How to Book was I said that Alexa would not have lost the title to begin with. So Ronda would be doing her feud with Natalya, and that would be the match for Evolution. So Alexa set to face Trish at Evolution for the women's title, which I think would be a great spot for Alexa to, go up against Trish in a title match. I think that would be a great spot for both of them on the card. So I would have said, instead of that atrocious segment that happened this week, I would have said that Trish comes out this week to cut a promo on Alexa for being, basically a bootleg clone of herself. So then Alexa would come out to say that she doesn't want to be the next Trish, as she's already only 3 less titles away from tying Trish in only 2 years than she had in her entire career. So I think that could have been something that was said, but they decided to go with what they said this week. And then I was said Trish responds by saying, "It's nice to see that Mickie James is still riding off someone's coattails like she did with her back in the day." So then out of that, I would have said that Mickie would challenge Trish to a match next week on Raw. So that would give Trish a tune-up, and it would, give her a match and something else going on up until Evolution. And I think people would be hyped to see Mickie and Trish go at it one more time, since, it was a great feud back in the day. So,
and if you're gonna have the Mickie Lita match still at Evolution, and your idea, you could have Lita fucking come in.
To be honest, I don't even have Lita and Mickey's match even talked about.
No, I know. I mean,
I really don't like it at all.
I know,
but I think Lita should be doing something else with maybe Sasha or something like that. Maybe a match like that. But I don't. Sasha seems to be injured because we haven't heard anything with her lately. But so then I would have had this week Trish comes back the next week for her match with Mickie James. Trish and Mickie have a solid 10-15 minute match, reliving their rivalry. And obviously Trish picks up the win here with either a chick kick or Stratisfaction. And then actually celebrating, Alexa comes out and hits her with the women's title and screams, "That's the closest you're going to get to holding my title again." And Alexa stands tall over Trish holding the belt, leading into Evolution in their match. So that's how I would have booked the Raw women's title this week and next week leading into Evolution.
So, to be fair, you're booking exactly based on the storyline. That's exactly my point. You have a storyline to go on. I don't have one. You have a Trish versus Bliss. That's the storyline.
But
yes?
Not really, because now it's a tag team match.
Man.
No, it's not the same thing. Now it's a tag match where you're including Mickie James and Lita for whatever reason when it should just be a one-on-one match from the beginning. And then I'm also including Mickie James having a match with Trish, which is not going to happen. That's something that's not happening. So I'm giving you, something to go off of here, because from what we're going to get is not what I want at all. And that this is what I think would have been a better build for that feud instead of this pointless tag match, which, I mean, yeah, you can say Rollins doesn't have a challenger, but, I mean, there are a lot of people that he's been feuding with. You could even say, him versus McIntyre, or him versus Ziggler, since, we've already seen that a million times, but there's meat for you to use for that.
It's the same thing, but it's the same thing. I'm just trying to go on something new. I could have said Ziggler, McIntyre, but it's the same thing. We've seen it 30,000 times.
But again, we haven't seen Trish versus Mickie since back in the day, and we're not going to get Alexa and Trish one-on-one now. It's going to be a tag match. So that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to...
I get it. But my only point was that we're just going based on the original storyline. That was supposed to happen, but I get it.
And then I'll move on to the SmackDown Women's title, which again, it's Charlotte and Becky, which is what I kind of have to go off of, which is... because that's the feud that everybody wants to see regardless. There's no point in me changing it because they have the right feud. It's just not done properly. So what I would have done with the Charlotte, this one's kind of longer. So Charlotte's still SmackDown Women's Champion coming out of Super Showdown, which I said on the last show. Her and the Iconics would have came out and helped Charlotte retain the title against Becky. So essentially giving her like a Queen's Court type deal with, the Iconics as her servants, quote unquote, that help her win matches, because you can't be the queen without having people under you, right? So the Iconics come out with Charlotte and talk about their win against Becky and Naomi and Asuka in a 6-woman tag at Super Showdown. Becky shows up trying to stop. Becky says, "What the hell did I write here?" She should stop trying to face her as she keeps losing. So Charlotte's saying that to Becky. So then Becky comes out and says that without her Queen's Court, she cannot beat the Last Kicker one-on-one. And she says she will kick both of their asses and starts to head to the ring. Paige stops her, comes out to make a one-on-one match this week between Becky and Billie Kay, but also says that Charlotte and Peyton are banned from ringside. So then leading into that match later in the night, Becky Lynch faces Billie Kay. Obviously, Becky gets the win here pretty easily, puts on the disarmer, makes Billy tap, but, Becky doesn't let go for 30 or so seconds, does a lot of damage. She isn't done. She throws Billy Kay in the outside and gives her a Bexplex through the announce table to kind of, put her out. And Charlotte and Peyton run down to try and stop, and then Becky runs up through the crowd, and it still keeps Becky Lynch's badass persona going on, that she's, going to run through the crowd and beat the hell out of Billy Kay relentlessly to try to get her out of the feud and try to take out Charlotte's cronies. So then the next week, this would be next week's event, this was this week's, Charlotte and Peyton would come out and send their well wishes to Billy Kay, who's still recovering from the beatdown by Becky Lynch the week before. Charlotte says that Paige thinks she needs a tune-up for her match at Evolution with Becky, so she will be facing Naomi tonight in a kind of a warm-up match. So she also Charlotte warns Becky that it will be a big mistake if she gets involved in this match, and tells the crowd that Paige tells the crowd that Becky is forbidden from the building due to Charlotte's conversation with Commissioner Shane McMahon, who has been completely, lost. We don't even know where the hell he is. So Charlotte goes above Paige and goes to Shane to ask her to ban Becky from anything to do in the building tonight. So Becky's not in the building. And then during the match, later in the night, Becky hops the barricade, shows up, even though she's not supposed to, looking like a badass. She attacks Peyton and starts throwing her up the stage. Peyton tries to escape to the back. Becky finds her and starts, beating the shit out of her with chairs and other backstage equipment, whatever the hell they can find. She backplexes her through whatever kind of table they got back there, like she did with Billy. And then, obviously, the camera is still looking at her, and Charlotte is looking at the Jumbotron, which has what's going on in the back. Becky looks at the camera and tells Charlotte that she will have the same fate as her Queen's Court suffered the last 2 weeks. And obviously, Charlotte gets distracted, and she's mortified by what's going on to her crony. She turns around into a rear view by Naomi, and Naomi gets the upset distraction win thanks to Becky. And that leads into their one-on-one match at Evolution, with the Charlotte's cronies kind of taken out by Becky single-handedly for the last 2 weeks. So that was a mouthful, but you guys have any thoughts on that?
I thought it was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was definitely a mouthful for sure, but I thought that was kind of the explanation I needed to give for the whole thing.
For sure.
I really like the fact that Charlotte needs some kind of cronies if she's going to be heel. It just makes sense. And it continues Becky. It doesn't kill Becky's momentum at all, because she's still coming out and being a badass. She continues to, try to get beaten down, but she gets back up and perseveres over all these, roadblocks that keep getting put in front of her. And, and eventually she's going to win the title, but she's got to chase for a bit. So,
Yep, I like it.
Ty, let's get into yours there.
Alright, so for the U.S. title, as I left off the last time, I kind of was starting to build a Rusev-Shinsuke kind of feud where they had a match where Aiden English helps Shinsuke to beat Rusev, and then English becomes Shinsuke's mouthpiece. So basically right now, after all that, I got Shinsuke has English cut his promo saying no one has beaten me, and now with the right-hand man, no one's going to stop us. And out of, as Shinsuke is starting to say something, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere, RKO's his ass. So basically, I'm inserting Randy Orton into this feud. So
Nice.
The next week, Raw 1000, Rusev.
Smackdown 1000?
Excuse me, Smackdown 1000, sorry. Rusev talks to Commissioner and everybody, and gets another opportunity at the belt. So Rusev has got Shinsuke in the Accolade, and Shinsuke looks like he's about to tap. Bam! Randy Orton comes out, RKO's his ass. So now, triple threat cemented into that. So now I've got a whole triple threat set up for the U.S. title. That's all I got for those kind of 2 weeks. I'm kind of trying to be quick with it since we've kind of gone over a little time here. For the WWE title, they kind of threw my plans off with Joe hurting his knee, but I'm actually okay with it because it worked out better for me after I thought about it. So with Joe being hurt, keep him out for a month. Don't forget him. Well, do forget him, because remember, How can I miss you if you won't go away? Plus, they've done so much with those two. It's kind of time to get away from it. But basically, I'm saying that Miz and Daniel Bryan match didn't even happen. They just kept fighting. So AJ and Paige come out the week before, this past week, I guess, and they announce, or AJ suggests that they should do a traditional Survivor Series 4-way to decide the number one contender. Paige agrees. They decide that The Miz, Daniel Bryan, Jeff Hardy, and Rey Mysterio will be the entrants in this, and that will be the main event on SmackDown 1000.
Ooh.
Hardy turns heel in the match.
Really?
Acts like he is going. Jeff Hardy's going to turn heel and acts like he is going to help Daniel Bryan, but turns on him and wins the match. Basically, that's going to spin off because Miz is kind of going to fuck over Rey in the match too, so that'll spin off a whole Rey versus Miz, and then maybe Daniel Bryan is starting to wonder if being Mr. Nice Guy is costing him too much. Basically, I want to get to the road of Brother Nero versus AJ Styles.
Interesting. So you wouldn't just say Hardy just did it for the sake of competition. You'd say he'd legitimately turn heel, like, purposely.
I'm saying he legitimately turns heel on purpose. I think he realizes how weak Daniel Bryan is when he helps everybody and blah blah blah. So Hardy's gonna make him think, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna help you, and he does something and then turns around, fucking whisper in the wind, something out of nowhere, whatever. And then he fucking swantons his ass, gets the win.
I like the whole Brother Nero idea. Maybe even have Matt Hardy come back and be in his manager or something like that.
Yeah, and I thought about saying that this week, but I think I'm going to wait down the road a little bit because I want to, now that this is kind of started and we've got a contender we got a match for Crown Jewel, whatever. They can start cutting some vignettes and some videos, I think, because they've got those guys from the Impact shit, and they've come over, so I think we can start doing some promos at the Hardy compound, and we can do some stuff for Brother Nero's looking in the lake, and there's a lot of reflecting going on, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? We can do a lot of shit with that.
That sounds interesting.
I think it's just a good main event thing to have right now, and Hardy doesn't have that much long left, so I just think we need to ride that horse while we can. Mm-hmm. For the Raw titles, Mick and Ziggler get the rematch, and the Revival screws them over, so they get Seth and Dean at SummerSlam, basically. Revival comes out the next week. It cuts promos about how they know they're not the fan favorites, and they know that they're up against everything with being against the Shield, and they're so upset that little kids aren't cheering them on, but they don't give a rat's ass, or as people in the South would say, and I could totally see Scott Dawson saying this, he don't give a rat's behind. They want the belts. So basically, they're just going to run roughshod on people until they get the belts, and that will basically. I'm hoping that we could, if it has to be because they screwed over McIntyre and Ziggler, if it has to be a triple threat match for the titles at Crown Jewel, which eventually spins off to just being Revival versus the Shield at SummerSlam, I'm okay with that too. But for right now, I've just kind of got it to where after McIntyre and Ziggler kind of get screwed over, they break up. McIntyre gets tired of being held down by Ziggler, so he decides to cut himself loose and goes on his own, which I think is the best thing for him anyway. But yeah, so basically I have the Revival and the Shield kind of starting to a feud out here in the next little bit.
That would actually be intriguing, instead of the Ziggler and McIntyre crap.
I just think if you're looking at a tag team, why don't have a real tag team there with those guys? You know,
one of the best tag teams, if not the best tag team.
Right. And then they're really good heels. They can do their whole NXT shtick. You know, they come out and they're badasses and they just beat the fuck out of people.
The Revival needs to be in a bigger spot. They don't need to be facing the fucking B team.
For sure. But that's all I've got for my How to Book this week.
All right. Well, I like those interesting things there. I definitely like the Revival getting some TV time, because God knows they need it. Mm-hmm. The WWE title, did you go over that quickly?
Yeah, I remember that was the Brother Nero.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what it... Okay, you tied that in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the How to Book segment. So again, we're going to be keeping up with this. Probably when Crown Jewel and Evolution happen, we're going to start another How to Book segment from then until Survivor Series. So that'll probably be the next How to Book segment. So stay tuned for that as we continue with our feuds here, and hopefully Bryan will have something to go off of next for the next episode, with Seth Rollins possibly being in a feud and the SmackDown tag titles possibly being on the show. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll get him. If we're gonna, yeah, well, I'll get him.
You'll go Vince Russo on it, okay? Well, at least. Anyways, so before we get into the wrestling history, we'll give a quick shout out to our sponsor, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. They specialize in WWE and MMA apparel with over 10,000 products in stock right now, from t-shirts to sweaters to muscle shirts and Halloween costumes. You're not going to want to miss out checking out this website, so go check it out at ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. As a special added bonus, use the code NOHOLDS at checkout, and you will save an extra 10% on your order. So go check them out, the official sponsor of No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So, it's that time of the show again, and it is time for This Week in Wrestling History. And this week in wrestling history, I'm going to give it over to Tyler Jones. Take it away.
Alrighty, I am your professor. I am the smartest man in the world, and you're not. This week in wrestling history, we got this week from October 8th all the way to October 14th. 2001, October 8th, Austin beats Kurt Angle to win his 6th and final WWF title.
Oh, I remember that.
Yep, that was a great match.
Was that the one at Unforgiven?
Oh shit! You're gonna ask me the pay-per-view. I knew you would. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% because I did not even think.
I don't
pay-per-view.
I don't think
I'm
it
just
was.
Going off memory.
It might have been, but I just remember it.
Could have been
him
SummerSlam, but I really don't remember.
I remember him beating Austin in his hometown of Pittsburgh at Unforgiven, but it might have not been that one. Anyways.
Well, this was Austin beating Angle.
Oh, Austin beating Angle. Okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
So this was Austin beats Angle to win his 6th and final WWF title.
Gotcha.
Is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. October 9th. Of course, I didn't put the year. But Eddie Guerrero will be 51 today, or on October 9th. That would be his birthday. 1982, Nick Bockwinkel defeats Otto Wanz for the AWA title, and he would go on to hold it for 501 days.
The NWA world title?
No, the AWA.
Oh, the AWA.
American Wrestling Association.
500 days. Was that like the longest reign they had?
I think so. For the AWA, probably. They didn't specify from the stuff that I was doing my research on. But I would say for the AWA, that would have to be right up there for their heavyweight title for sure.
And going off of your last point, Eddie Guerrero, one of the all-time greats. You know, still miss him to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Some guy that
100%.
went way too soon. He could have had some unreal matches with some of the, not necessarily the guys nowadays, but definitely like the guys who transitioned from that era to this era for sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%.
So what do you got
2006, Kurt Angle debuted on TNA.
Well, that was huge. I remember when that
October 9th
happened.
as well.
I remember when he signed with TNA. It was like, holy shit, he actually left. And he had,
and I don't think anybody really thought it was going to happen, especially to TNA. You know, a very up-and-coming and not very popular company at the time. I mean, they never really did get any popular either, but it's still pretty cool to see. You know, if you think about it, they had just some insane talent, and they wasted it.
AJ,
and they literally
Samoa
had
Joe,
WWE's
Kurt Angle.
top, 6 wrestlers right now.
Yep.
And they did nothing with them. It's just, what a sad thing for TNA to think back and look on now. And look at how well they're doing and go, fuck, we've messed up.
Yeah, I remember Kurt Angle's TNA theme being pretty badass, too, if I recall.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Sure it was like
it
a
was
rap
awesome.
song, wasn't it? Or
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
It was pretty sick, but I just remember that being a really, crazy moment to see, a big WWE guy go, debuting on TNA. It was just holy shit.
Didn't he come out from under the stage too or something like that?
Yeah, I remember
Lift it
TNA
up,
had
yeah.
all those weird entrances.
Yeah, TNA had a weird entrance.
Yeah.
October 10th, 2008, Dolph Ziggler was suspended for the first time for 30 days for his wellness policy, and he actually did that before he even made his debut on TV. He had cut some vignettes and some promos, but he had never actually been on TV and was suspended before he could actually make his debut.
So that's when he was
What
doing the
a
whole
moron.
"Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler" thing and shaking everybody's
Yep.
hands. Oh my
Yep.
god. See, I forgot. Like, I remember watching that and saying, like, whatever happened to this guy? And he just, like, went away. Like, okay, whatever happened to this...
That's what happened.
Whatever happened to this dude, like, coming around shaking people's hands? And then he just, I don't know, he showed up later, but wow. Who does that before they even debut? That's a huge fail right there.
But I wonder, because like the WWE wellness policy, I'm sure is fucking stupid. Because like steroids aren't on it. What is on it? So like what exactly constitutes failing the wellness policy anymore is what I want to know.
And it's their own policy. It's not like it's regulated by.
Yeah.
They can take off whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever Vince McMahon is using is not forbidden.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that would be every roid on planet Earth. October 11th, 1999, Jushin Thunder Liger wins the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship for the 10th time. That would be a record for the IWGP.
The Junior Championship.
Yep. I mean, irregardless. I mean, they call it Junior Heavyweight, but it's basically just like the light heavyweight division. But Thunder Liger was absolutely an unbelievable wrestler, an unbelievable talent. If you haven't seen his matches, huh?
I said I have a question here. Like, might sound like a noob question, but is this the same? Is it the same guy playing him? Because I feel like he's been wrestling for like 50 years.
No. They have no. Basically, Japanese wrestlers, if there was a big character under a mask, they would keep it going on with different guys.
Ah, okay.
But I think this one, with the one where he won the 10 titles, that was the one Jushin Liger. That was the original Jushin Liger.
So like it's not the same one that I think he fought.
No, there is one now. I'm pretty sure, but it's not the same guy.
Ah, okay.
And if it is, it's pretty
He'd be like
incredible.
105 years old.
October 12th, 1945. A guy who's very, very near and dear to my heart since I've become a wrestling fan was born in 1945. Dusty Rhodes, and he would have been 73 tomorrow. It's tomorrow, the 12th?
Well, technically now, where I am in the Eastern time zone, it's the 12th. Right. But I saw all the wrestlers tweeting about that. But Dusty Rhodes, it's crazy how many wrestlers that he impacted, especially in NXT nowadays, and even what he used to do back in the day. I know he had some heat from the WCW era, but from what I've seen, it's mostly been positive love towards Dusty Rhodes for everything he's done for wrestling in general.
Oh my gosh, he's literally one of the greatest of all time. I mean, it's pretty funny. I was telling one of my buddies the other day, actually, at Trey Patterson on Twitter. Big shout out to the big man. That it's pretty funny. Guys could not really talk shit in promos to Dusty Rhodes. Like, you hear fat ass all the time when you get to promos of Dusty Rhodes later on in his career and in ECW and different stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you can't fucking talk shit about Dusty Rhodes. He's the goddamn one of the greatest of all time. 1992, Bret Hart defeats Ric Flair for the WWF Championship for the first time. The title was won at an untelevised event since Hogan in 1984. So that was obviously in Canada. So they were trying to hype it up. So they let Hart defeat Flair on an untelevised event, which for the WWE, obviously, for that to happen, like, was that twice in 8 years? Is pretty impressive that didn't happen more.
A non-televised event. Can you imagine if the title changed hands nowadays on especially the world title on a non-televised event?
Didn't AJ win? AJ win the U.S. title at Madison Square?
Yeah, that wasn't the world title though.
No.
I think NXT, right? Didn't their main title change hands there too?
Nah, that's the B show. We don't need to talk about them.
October 14th, 1989, Tito Santana defeats Rick Martel for the King of the Ring title that year.
Wow.
There was a lot of high-level talent in that tournament.
Tito Santana.
Rick Martel and Tito Santana.
And who went on to win that?
Tito Santana. He defeated Rick Martel.
That means you should buy his Elite Fig, man. It's sitting there at Target. Nobody wants to buy it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen about 1 billion of them. October 14th, 2009 was the day Captain Lou Albano died from a massive heart attack. The reason I just thought this was really cool when I found when I was looking that up. I mean, huge loss for the wrestling world in 2009 when Lou Albano died. Obviously, one of the greatest managers and a really good wrestler of his day. I just thought this was really cool considering it was near to our state. He actually was offered 30 scholarships. He was a football player and a track runner in high school, I guess. And he was offered 30 scholarships, and he went to the University of Tennessee on the scholarship. But he was kicked out of school due to cheating on a final exam.
Sounds like Rick Martel.
What a hell of a... Well, that was...
Captain Lou Albano. That's it, yeah.
Yep.
Captain Lou. I expect nothing less from that guy. Like, what a heel, right?
Right. So I just
cheating on a fucking exam to get kicked out of school. Maybe it was a work.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a work. Maybe they it was for storyline purposes,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got for this week, class. I'm letting you out early. So.
You're letting them out early. What did you call them last week?
Gremlins.
Yeah, the Gremlins. So and that's for you, Gremlins. Thank you, Tyler Jones, for this week in wrestling history.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sure Byron liked that a lot. He loves all that history stuff that you talk about that Vince Russo seems to shit all over. But
I love it. It's my birthday week, so hey, I gotta get all the wrestling knowledge I can this week.
It's your birthday week. Ooh.
Yep, Saturday.
Ooh, Saturday is Brian's birthday. Oh. Well, I guess you'll have to get your future endeavored papers by Saturday then. So it'll be a happy birthday. Anyway, yeah. Who was it? Didn't Vince or somebody fire somebody on their birthday? I can't remember. Punk, that's what it was. Punk got his papers on his birthday. That's what.
You know what? Speaking of hiring and firing, I was looking at just before we end up here. I just had a little thing I was thinking of. I was on the WWE jobs and career site one day, just because I was looking up see if they had like ring crew or camera operator positions or anything open, and they actually were looking for a director of operations. Cappy,
yes,
your job opening.
All right, I gotta apply. I gotta get Kane as my reference though.
I was gonna say, man, you gotta get down here. Oh, also apparently Kane and Tom Pritchard, Dr. Tom Pritchard, one of the greatest wrestling trainers of all time, is opening up a school in Knoxville. So I might be attending that as well one day.
Oh, man. Can you imagine?
Yeah, can you imagine learning from fucking Kane and Tom Pritchard?
That would, you'd definitely be on the road to success. But you don't know. As long as you don't get kicked out for your mouth, that's all.
Mouth would be the greatest point of me. So
yeah, you'd be an instant heel. So anyways, we got 2 fan tweets here. They come from Datila to end the show here. She says, I think that Miz will cost Bryan his title match at Crown Jewel, setting up a triple threat at Survivor Series. There you go. Thank you, Datila. That's exactly what I said was going to happen. Yeah. So I didn't even read this tweet. Datila, I did not steal your idea. Thank you very much for...
Yes, you did.
Sure, I did. All right. And then at this point, I think WWE is setting up to have AJ break Punk's 434-day record. I 100% agree with that. I think they want CM Punk removed from any kind of WWE record book there possibly is. Because that's the type of person Vince is. He wants you completely exiled from the company if you do something that he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm. He wants a new wrestler to be named the best in the world after the World Cup. So Punk can't even have that.
And I guess to end the show, we'll quickly go over your thoughts on what we had today, that controversy with, Brian. I'll let you talk about it. Whatever you read today.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys checked it out, but apparently, I don't know if it was some kind of reporter or whatnot, but I think it was a U.S. reporter, was apparently murdered and chopped up by some Saudi. I don't really remember. It was like a Saudi.
Wasn't the person endorsed by the prince or something like that?
It was endorsed, yeah, something by a Saudi prince or something that was endorsed by this guy, and he ended up killing an American, I guess for better words, and chopped him up with a handsaw. So now a bunch of sponsors, for the Saudi government, a couple of entertainment companies are pulling out of deals until it's resolved. So I guess see if there's any kind of link between, whoever this guy is and the Saudi government. And I guess WWE is getting a lot of heat for obviously the upcoming Crown Jewel event. People are saying they should pull out. How can they do stuff like that? I guess we got Ty's opinion on the matter.
I apologize.
It's only a dead topic.
I meant to hit mute. And just didn't happen.
Oh, we're live here, folks.
Wow.
Anything goes.
We're live, buddy.
Sorry, Brian. Continue.
No, so I kind of wanted to hear your guys' opinions on, where is the line drawn when it comes to financial gain and just kind of doing the right thing. Like, I've always been a supporter of making the most money and Vince, screw the fans. If you're making billions of dollars, make those billions of dollars. But at what point do you say, okay, one of our people is getting literally chopped up, allegedly by the Saudi government. Let's throw that out there so we don't get in trouble. But
the dude took a serious L, to say the least.
Yeah. So where do we, where do we?
Yeah, I think the WWE needs to draw the line on that one. I mean, that's just some bullshit. If that's what's going on over there, I've been saying for a while, those fucking people are insane and religious beliefs are insane. It's just not a place we need to go.
Especially,
Yeah,
my issue with it was the fact that they're having the women's only pay-per-view 4 days after this thing.
No, well, 4 days before, right?
Yeah, whatever. It's 4 days apart from the first women's only pay-per-view. We're supposed to be excited for women's wrestling and women in general in society. And then they're going to have this event where women aren't even allowed being in the fucking arena.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's fucking
it's just a bad look.
And then the WWE is running these stupid little promos and advertisements making the Saudis look like a more diverse people when they treat their women like fucking dog shit and murder people on the spot. So I mean, I don't appreciate them taking money and then making a country that's a shitbag look good.
That's where I would draw the line, Brian, I guess you could say, or in Thai, is that, when you're going against something like that where these people are literally suppressing other sorts of people, you're going to go there and try to make money off them. I just don't see how that's positive in any way of you being associated with these people right now until they get their shit together.
Yeah. And
Do
you think they actually, let's just say the Saudis are caught, with the blood on their hands. Does the WWE pull out? And if they don't,
Probably not.
Do you think there's any major backlash or Fox maybe even pulling out of the deal or whatnot?
No, Fox won't pull out of the deal because they don't give a fuck about people being greedy.
Ty needs another podcast for that fucking discussion, but we'll save that.
Yeah, it's for another place and another time. No, I don't think. I think that a very small minority group will come out against it and will be very vocal, just kind of like most WWE wrestling fans can be. But I don't think they won't give a shit. They won't give a shit.
See, I definitely think they're not gonna cancel the event, but I think they're definitely gonna question and debate whether they should go back again. I definitely think it's going to be something.
They have to get this one done. They've already put themselves in a hole. That's got to happen now. So
don't they have a 10-year deal with them, like $100 million?
That's yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on.
Well, I think if they wanted to make a big statement about this, I think they should pull out of the deal. I mean, I know Vince is making a lot of money from it, but again, where do you draw the line of, making money?
I mean, how much money do you fucking need?
I know, that's my point. I mean, you have $2 billion coming from Fox,
and then another few billion coming from USA. I mean, what do you need the money for?
He can go to these other countries. He doesn't have to go to Saudi Arabia. He just went to Australia.
Yeah,
he can go somewhere
else.
else.
Keep going to Australia and go to Germany and go to fucking Japan. Why aren't they going to Japan more?
Don't get those Germans where all the
Walter, baby, Walter.
But again, I definitely think that they're going to reconsider going back there in the future if stuff like this is going to take place, and suppressing women is going to be something in their country for a long time. When they're trying to push this whole women's agenda onto us, and then having that happen, it just kind of, makes them look bad when they're trying to push the whole women's evolution on us.
Yeah, and not to make this, a whole show itself, but it's just kind of funny how, yes, everyone complained about the women and oh my god, it's unfair and yada yada yada. But it wasn't as bad as people now. You know, someone dies, a man gets killed, and they're like, "Oh no, WWE, you need to get the hell out of there." It's like, dude, these guys would have killed a woman on a TV show. That's all right. Yeah, it's just a woman. But now it's like, oh no, they killed someone. Now you really gotta go. It's like, no, dude, they've been assholes for a long time. You know, and we chose to just make jokes about the women thing, and it's okay, whatever. They're just women. But now that someone is dying over it, it's just like, dude, don't act like now they're a problem. They've been a problem for a long time. You know?
Yeah, we don't act on things until something really tragic happens, and then it makes you finally think, hey, maybe we should act on something instead of just acting on it when you should, right? I guess it's kind of the moral of the.
It should have never been. It should have never gone there in the first place.
Yeah, it should have never even got to that situation. I guess that's our little 5 to 10 minute political rant on that. We could. I know Ty can rant about politics for maybe he needs his own show for that, but I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for the Lowdown show this week. Bryan's early Christmas present was being on the show with Ty. I know it's him getting ripped apart by Ty was an early birthday present for him. I'm sure he must have enjoyed that.
Rip him apart
for his lack of how to book segment.
Hey, I can't help it 2 times in a row. He didn't know what he was doing.
Well, I was going strictly on storyline. If we're gonna just do whatever we want, I can do that.
All right. I'm glad you finally got the rules now.
So now that Bryan knows the rules, and now that he's gonna go Vince Russo on us for his birthday. Thank you to Tila for the question.
I'm just gonna
by the way,
make fun of it and call you stupid for it. So it's okay.
It's okay. That's what we need on this show. You know, we're not like the guys in the other show. We're gonna make you must see over here. So, anyways, thank you to Datila for her fan tweet, and happy early birthday to Bryan. And that's going to wrap it up for the Lowdown show right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us every Thursday night on Spreaker and download the free app on all Apple and Android devices. We are also available to listen to on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. For all network updates, please go follow at NHB Network on Twitter. As well, you can follow our show itself at The Lowdown Show on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below on the YouTube version of the podcast. And you can follow all of us. Our Twitter handles will be in the description below. And until next time, I am your favorite host, as always, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy, and I'm always joined by my co-hosts, the main wrestler Maharaja Bryan, and the natural-born heel Tyler Jones. And we're here always reminding you to keep it on the Lowdown.
Good night, Gremlins.